Welcome back. So let's get started with the cow passive participle. Now, as we left last time, I was telling you the difference between the active and the passive participle. The active participle, the subject is doing the action of the verb. In the passive participle, the subject is receiving the action of the verb. Now, let's look at what we have here in these passive participles. The passive participle inflects like an adjective with both gender and number. It is not inflected for person. The inflectional endings of the participle are highlighted here in red. And here we have, in the singular, we have katal and katola. And in the plural, we have katalim and kataluth. And the Shuric stem vowel that we have here, this is our diagnostic feature with the cow passive participle. And we'll be talking some more about that. The masculine singular, as you can see, is ending list. And our diagnostic feature, though, for the remaining three forms here, the feminine singular and then the masculine and feminine plural, the diagnostic is going to be the presence of the Shuric stem vowel. Now, here on this sheet that I'm showing you, this is participles with prefixes and suffixes. And that's the wrong one. I'm taking you to the last one. All right, here we go. Diagnostics for the cow passive participle. That's the right one. The diagnostic feature of the cow passive participle is the Comet's Shuric vowel pattern in the masculine singular. And you can see it there. Under the calf, there's the Comet's, and then the tau, and then the Shuric vowel pattern. And that's going to be the tell or your diagnostic. The diagnostic Shuric can also be written defectively as a kibitz. This is not going to happen very often, but you do need to be aware that this does happen sometimes. But most often, more than any other diagnostic tool for your passive cow participle, is going to be the Comet's Shuric. That's going to be the tell. Now, the cow passive participle, most weak verbs are going to be cow passive participles. In the following weak verb passive participles, the strong vowel pattern is preserved in every form. Most of the weak forms exhibit the same strong verb pattern. So this is nothing new for you. And this is one of those wonderful get out of jail free kind of moments where you don't really have to learn anything, because the weak is going to behave almost identical to that of the strong. Now, of course, there's always the exception. There's going to be the three hey. And of course, the exception to any rule is most often going to be what occurs most frequently. So the three hey is the most complicated form of all. The forms of the three hey passive participle are quite unusual at first glance. In every form, the consonant yod stands in the place of the third root consonant. This is reminiscent of the fact that three hey verbs were originally three yod verbs. This yod is indicative of the three hey class of weak verbs. Knowing this is going to help you in the reconstruction of the lexical form of the verb. So if you come across and you see that yod there in a cow participle, and it's a three hey weak verb, but the hey is missing, and you see the yod there, then you reconstruct it, remove the hey and add the yod. Remove the yod and add the hey. So here we have, now the word here, the root word is b'nai, baith, noon, hey. Now look at this. In all of these forms, there is no hey, but there's a yod in each of these forms. So to reconstruct, you would go baith, noon, and then there's a yod there. Let's see if hey works and if that's a word that I recognize. The strong verb diagnostics are present. The Shuric is present in all of these. And the hey is replaced by yod because remember, the three hey verbs were once three yod verbs. And that'll help you out a little bit there. And again, if you're familiar with your vocabulary, and that's why I drive that vocabulary so hard in this class, if you're familiar with your vocabulary, you should be able to recognize this. You know that you've not had a word that's spelled baith, noon, yod. That word's not in our vocabulary, and if you look it up in a lexicon, you're not going to find it because it doesn't exist. But if you go, okay, I remember that a Beth Noon Yod that was once a hey, and let me deconstruct it and then reconstruct it, and you go Beth Noon hey, I've had that word, and it means to build or to construct. So that should help a little bit. Now, in this sentence here, Habarith, Hakathuba, Be Sofe, HaTorah, Hatzah. I'm sorry, I didn't have that there for you. The passive participle follows the noun, it modifies, and it agrees in gender, number, and definiteness. And the sentence I just read for you, the covenant written in this book, is the law. Now, that's the attributive use. In the predicative use, the passive participle either precedes or follows the noun it modifies and agrees in gender and number, but as was true with the Cal active participle, it doesn't have to. It doesn't agree in definiteness. And here we have Baruch Yahweh Olam. Blessed is Yahweh forever. And then the substantive use. The passive participle can be used independently as a noun, indicating the one exists in a described state, and they will fall among the slain ones. Wathahath Harukim Yapolu, and they will fall among the slain ones. So there you have the substantive, the attributive, and the predicative use. Now when you parse the Cal participle, it's going to look like this. Like a verb, the participle has stem and voice, Cal, active or passive. Like an adjective, it's inflected for gender or number, masculine, singular, feminine, plural. And when you're parsing it, you're going to be required to identify the stem, the conjugation with the voice, gender, number, and the translation. Because I don't ask you guys to type in Hebrew, so I ask for the translation instead of the lexical form. So you'll give me the translation, and that's the way you'll parse it. Now, Cal participles, because participles behave like nouns, they may take the definite article, prepositional prefixes, or pronominal suffixes, and they may also be used in the construct state. And in all three of these sentences, ha, halach, bashada, the one who walks in the field, the participle is masculine singular, and it's prefixed with the definite article. And you should see that there with the hey pathak. To those who keep his covenant, the participle masculine plural in the construct state with a preposition lamed, to those who keep his covenant. And then I am Yahweh who heals you, the participle masculine singular with 2ms pronominal suffix. And you've already had these, so this should be pretty much easy for you. After what you guys have been through, I think anything's easy for you. So look forward to seeing the end of the semester with you guys, and it's been a pleasure to have time with you this week, and hope that these lessons have helped you.